Texas, the police officer just ran over that man.
Get on your stomach now! Get on your stomach! Let me see your hands! Let me see your hands! I'm gonna shoot you!
Let me see your hands or I'm going to shoot you. Well, it's not very easy for the victim, Dustin Bates, to move, because Bates now has a fractured spine, 3 broken ribs, and a leg shattered in 2 places. Here is the strike in slow motion. The use of force from November 2020 is at the heart of a civil lawsuit against police officer Jonathan Granado. The incident began when Granado initiated a traffic stop because the license plate on Bates' motorcycle was only partially displayed. When the light changed, Bates took off, and he was soon far ahead of Officer Granado.
The officer was considering discontinuing the pursuit due to a loss of visual contact with the suspect. But once he topped the hill and he saw a cloud of dust, he knew that the motorcycle had wrecked.
Indeed, along the exit ramp, Bates had crashed. Officer Granado drove towards the scene, and along the ramp, he saw Bates crossing the road and running into the grass. Officer Granado kept speeding towards Bates and struck him with the police cruiser at 45 miles per hour.
Get on your stomach now! Get on your stomach! Let me see your hands! Let me see your hands! I'm gonna shoot you! I'm gonna shoot you! Let me see! Let me see your hands now! Put them on your back! Don't move! Put them on your back, Major Smith! Please! Please! No! 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 You better put them on your back! Put them on your back now! Now!
How'd you shoot me, man?
He's not showing me his hands.
He's got my hands. Why'd you hit me with your truck, man?
While Bates was on the ground, another officer, James O'Bannon, allegedly said, "Welcome to Lake Worth. This is what happens when you run from the law. If you would have stopped, it would have been fine. You run from us, this is what happens." The Lake Worth, Texas police chief has now apologized for O'Bannon's comments and said that officer has been reprimanded. Lake Worth Police Department suspended him for 2 weeks, and they ordered him to undergo more training. But eventually, the FBI and a criminal grand jury concluded that Officer Granado did not break any laws. By contrast, in the recently filed civil lawsuit, Dustin Bates says Granado and the other officers at the scene violated his constitutional rights to be free from excessive force. The suit notes that Bates was not armed or presenting a threat to any officer or person at the time. The suit adds that the arrest, quote, was objectively unreasonable under the circumstances and inflicted unnecessary injury, pain, suffering, and physical disfigurement. Officer Granado's defense is claiming the cop did not intend to hit Mr. Bates and that running the man over was an accident. Bates' legal team calls those defense claims absurd. As the suit moves forward, the Lake Worth police chief is taking a slightly different tack, saying Officer Granado used poor judgment and that his actions were disappointing. However, the chief is defending keeping Officer Granado on the force. The chief noted that this is a young officer early in his career and said the department would never have seasoned, tenured officers if they were fired after their first mistake. Legal experts point out that running over a man who was on foot and was trying to flee from a traffic violation is a heck of a mistake. The experts also believe Dustin Bates will win his federal lawsuit and force the Lake Worth Police Department to pay out hundreds of thousands of dollars. If that's the result, it will be paid for by Lake Worth, Texas taxpayers and not Officer Granado personally because of something known as qualified immunity. Is Officer Granado worth it? Well, perhaps the young officer will actually learn from this and never use unnecessary and excessive force again. However, I wouldn't count on that. Police in America are trained to dominate suspects, and all too often that means escalating a confrontation, not de-escalating.